Hello everybody, welcome back to the Contest Round podcast. This is episode 49. Yes, next week we'll hit the big 5-0. And if you don't know already, we're available on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes Podcasts, and did I just say Spotify? I don't know what. We're available on all major podcast platforms. You know. It's been a long week to a point that I think a long week. I've had like a big burn to the end. Oh, sorry. Hello, everybody. Frontline MCOC. Dan is with us. Make sure to go to www.frontline.home.blog. Links are always in the bios and description. Hello, Dan. I butchered our start, but
it's okay, Rich. It's been that kind of week, and it's one of those race to the finish line weeks because we just had an enormous news dump 2 hours ago. So I can totally understand that your brain is a little bit scrambled at this point.
Yeah, I've just got over the fact that people are trying to say to me, Rich, they mentioned Mystique in the release notes. That means nothing. It was in a song. It was in a jokey song that they did.
Yeah. They're trolling you.
They're trolling you.
And they still haven't released the new version of Scarlet Witch.
No.
So let's one thing at a time, folks. One thing at a time. Another month with no new Scarlet Witch, and that's just gonna hang over our heads.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of like it because you had to wait so long for 5-star OG Scarlet Witch, and that was always a thing for months and months, and now it's just the new Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
is vexing your existence.
I think it was it must have been around about a year ago today when we did a podcast, and we were given an inkling that she might come in at some point. So it's definitely taken a long ass time.
Oh yeah.
A lot of peer pressure from me, I would say, and the diehard fans. But,
sure.
I'd be interested to see where this new Scarlet Witch comes in play, how it comes in play. Will it have any kind of bearing on the season finale of WandaVision, which, if you don't know, and how the podcast works, is once a week we take an episode that has been watched the previous week, or we know about, and we just kind of dissect it a little bit, talk about how we enjoyed it, what we enjoyed about it, and stuff like that. So we're going to do that later on in the show. And again, where do we begin? Because there's a lot of stuff. This podcast goes out on Sunday, so we would have seen the micro news dump for the big news dump today, Friday, which we've seen the new event, Love is a Battle Realm. Slight mention of the lunar event, but no greater details probably until close to the event time. Psycho Man, Super Scroll. We've had, and we will see, information of the slight tune-up to Terex and Mole Man. Where do we begin? I always got AQ updates.
Yeah, let's start with the AQ updates.
Yeah.
Because I think this was sort of a developing story since season 8 dropped. Now I play map 7 every day, so we've been dealing with the that big beefy apocalypse and also the Magneto House of X that have been problems. I don't know. What have you been playing recently?
Mainly
map 7?
Mainly map 6.
Mainly map 6. Okay, so you don't have the Magneto, but you do have that apocalypse is still no joke in map 6. So I think there'd been a lot of discussion about whether or not some of these bosses were overtuned, and there's been a lot of dialogue on Twitter and on the forums, and certainly within the CCP, with us giving a lot of feedback. I actually submitted, and along with several other people, several paragraphs of feedback about our feelings about the current AQ tuning, because it felt clear to me that Apocalypse was overtuned. I don't know about you. Did you actually have to fight him?
I did a few kind of fights against him. A lot of the time it was just straight up intercepting every single time, and then just hoping to do as much damage as possible. More times than
right.
I think a lot of the time I was just straight up every repetitive time intercepting. I was using a Corvus Glaive. And it was just a case of going look, I cannot be bothered with this, except for I'm going to intercept my ass off and try and make sure I do as much damage. And if he kills me, he kills me.
Right. Yeah. And of course the problem with Apocalypse is, I mean, he's got some tricky specials to dodge. They can be dodged, but it's not easy to learn. And map 7, map 6, AQ boss is probably not the place where you want to learn how to dodge those specials. So I think a lot of people were resorting to the Corvus timeout trick because that was honestly the safest play. Now, if you're a phenomenal player, you can do it with Tigra. There's been a couple other options of one shots if you're really, really skilled, but it's a high risk thing. So I'm going to share a little bit of my feedback that I gave the dev team about what I feel like is going on in map 7, particularly as those bosses, because I think the dev team look at it very much as like they want to construct a challenging fight or a challenging series of fights, where we look at it very differently. We want to finish AQ, we want to get all our rewards, and there's a huge downside risk for players in AQ, right? Like if you don't finish and you're in a map 6 or map 7 alliance, you're probably going to get kicked.
Yeah.
So there's that huge risk. So it's in the players, from a player perspective, it makes sense to mitigate your downside risk when you're playing AQ, because if you item out and you don't finish, you're gone. And how do you do that? Well, you do that with Corvus, right?
Yeah.
So that's, and I told him, I was like, I think you tried to design these fights to be unappealing to timeout to, which they are, but you also made it more appealing for them to be taken with anyone else. So Corvus is still your best option for the majority of the player base. So you're not really meeting the design goals. And let's, on top of that, have potion prices gone down? No, they have not. Have the health given back by the potions gone? Has that gone up? No, it is not. Like dying is very expensive.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a lot of the players incentivized to not spend potions. Right. You have to complete the map first off, and then you want to complete it as cheaply as possible.
Absolutely.
Which gets us to Corvus again, and I think the thing with Apocalypse was the vigor node, where he would heal, right? It let that Apocalypse heal back up. You do not re-enter your battle group line chat after being that guy. Like you're gonna have a lot of upset people with you. So like you cannot be that guy. So they created a fight where you want to time out after 15 seconds because that's the safest thing to do. And it doesn't teach you learning the fight. Like you remember when Dr. Doom came out last season, right? Like he was kicking all our butts initially, but you could learn to dodge his specials. You could learn the fight. You weren't penalized for trying to learn the fight because you didn't go backwards because he didn't heal up. Yeah. With Apocalypse, you could actually go backwards. So the risk factor is just too high. And my argument, and I think a lot of other people's argument, was that it just didn't meet the design goals that they said they were going for.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they listened to that feedback and removed the vigor node. And they made a couple other changes. They took away cutting wires, which is good. Changed that to stage fright 2. So cutting wires eliminated robots, which, I mean, that's like half of the opponents, half of the champions with a class advantage against Apocalypse couldn't take the fight. Stage fright 2, okay, you can't throw a special twice in 15 seconds. Not exactly a huge deal. So happy to see. And the other thing, Magneto, House of X, taking away the heavy hitter node, bringing Mighty Charge down from Mighty Charge 3 to Mighty Charge 1. Those are good changes. I mean, they kept True Strike, so you still can't quake it, but they took the edge off, which I'm very happy to see.
I mean, that's good. It needs to have not something that's enjoyable, but if you're kind of like doing something on a regular basis, you want to know that you're not disappointed going into Alliance Quest or already got a preset notion that you're not going to enjoy it.
Right, and how do you go? I don't know. You go hard on map 7 and Alliance War at the same time. Like, it just seems expensive and stressful and risky. I mean, I really like playing Map 7, but I can't do 5 days of Map 7 and have to spend any items on War. That's too much. So I'm very happy with the changes. I'm very, very happy with the data, and they really did take a lot of time to go back and forth with us in the CCP chat and get some feed, get our perspectives on the why and how we viewed the fight. So it certainly all the posts on the forum, all the posts on Twitter, all that helps. And I think we've got a much better set of mini bosses and apocalypse bosses now. So happy with that. But let's move on to the big stuff. Rich, despite the naysayers saying the game would die right after 0.0, we are now on version 30.0. It's unbelievable. Weird. I mean, that it sort of makes you question what you've done with your life.
Yeah.
When you realize that they only go through 4 versions a year, like it's 30, 30.1, 30.2, then 31. So, it's kind of insane that we are at version 30.0 of this game. So, where do you want to start with that? New champions, quests? What's most excited about February?
Yeah, the 2 new champions. I won't say they look really weird, but I definitely I kind of like. I call the Psycho Man a little baby man. Mainly because he looks like he's got like a baby's head on top of him.
In that sort of 60s art style.
Yeah, it's a very.
I mean, he's a deep cut for sure. They're both fantastic or villain, but Super Skrull's. He's not Galactus Doctor Doom level, but he's in that next cut of real quality, fantastic 4 villains. Psycho Man, he's someone I hadn't really heard about. I can't remember reading about him in the comics. So I'm interested to see what they do with both. Super Skrull, he's got all the powers of the Fantastic Four, so he could absolutely be insane with the animations and what he could do.
Yeah, Psycho Man has this kind of cool element to it, and I don't know. There's an image that was put out on the Twitter of Marvel Contest
on the official Twitter. Yeah,
which I've got up at the moment. Now, I don't know if this plays into. He's got this ability, which is like when I did the comic book research. By the time this video comes out, I would have released this thing that kind of looks over the abilities. It has this thing called a control box. And it's kind of like in the comic books, it's very much kind of like a push button thing. So it looks like it's a big button that's got fear on it, like the label fear, which he presses, or kind of hate or whatever. In the Twitter image that I was referring to, there's more of this kind of like it looks like a dreidel. Is it a dreidel? The thing with the spinning
it's kind of like it's like an upside down pyramid.
Yeah,
with these faces that probably correspond to the different emotion that's being affected. The control box looks cooler than he does.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's gonna be like floating, like Sorcerer Supreme's orb or something.
That would be cool.
Like in his is the weapon gonna be incorporated into his gameplay? Like that could be really cool, actually.
Yeah.
Is this kind of levitating upside down pyramid thing?
Yeah, how that's going to be like I don't know how you get up there, because he's a tech, whether or not that's through magnetism or something.
Yeah, tech that controls emotions. Yeah.
I think the Super Skrull's a bit of a weird one. When I was doing the deep dive into comic book origins and stuff, apparently he had all of these powers that he imbued in him, but they were sent to him via a beam from from a throne world or something. So from like the Skrull throne world, they were like beaming the powers to him, and then Reed Richards found a way to suppress that, and then and left him trapped in a volcano. And then after that, it was a case that he didn't need the beam for his power. So it's a bit kooky. But I like it.
Yeah, he's got an interesting story, and he's been a part of some of the bigger Marvel cosmic events of the last 20 years, like Annihilation. So he's kind of transitioned out of a pure villain to sometimes he's an anti-hero, and he actually ties in a bit to some of the Young Avengers stuff where he's helped out Hulkling. So, and Hulkling, of course, is linked to Wiccan. So we've sort of got like so many steps removed from WandaVision and Scarlet Witch with these characters.
Yeah, for sure.
I think the most interesting thing for me about Super Skrull is that Galactus destroyed his planet, and you wonder if that's going to come into play, where the Fantastic Four storylines in MCOC usually are talking about Galactus coming. And here we've got a villain that's been directly impacted by Galactus, and is that going to be part of his backstory for the MCOC Super Skrull?
Yeah, because that's still part of the story that we haven't fully seen or explored. We still got that massive question mark that's towards the bottom right that we're like, we're not quite sure. Is this Galactus? It must be.
Yeah.
How is everything opened between that and Realm? What happens there? Is there a combined universe and story arc and stuff like that? Still a lot more to discover. What the other stuff is like events wise. Levels of Battle Realm makes a return, which is pretty cool.
That's always a good one because it's just a quest. There's no tokens.
Yeah.
There's no prize cards. We could kind of leave the convoluted event of January in the dust. It's actually like Jubilee's Arcade was pretty easy as far as the fights go, but I think everyone's brain melted from trying to figure out how to maximize it. And I know you've been covering it in your news of people like, can we just have a couple more tokens? Because people made mistakes. So I get that. So Love is a Battle Realm. It's going to be kooky Deadpool dialogue like usual. He's made a mess. We have to clean it up, get lots of prizes. I believe we can play all the difficulties.
Yeah.
That should be fun.
Yeah, I like this. I'm more looking forward to this event than I've been for a while. It kind of gets me more interested to do more of a grind than I normally do. I'm not to say I'll be doing like a big old grind for content and in-game stuff. I still need to I still got targets that I've set myself, which is I have to 100% uncollected in the first 2 days, and I have 1 week to 100% Cavalier difficulty, and then I have to as well 100% the side event within the first week. These are very kind of crazy targets I set myself, but it's all relevant when it comes to my resolve and grind to get further content done, so I can then make videos, get on with my life, and as well bash out one more Path of Abyss. And also, I should have hopefully 100%ed 7.1 by next week, but I don't know. It just depends on time.
That's a lot. Yeah. I'm sitting here. I've still got 4 more runs of the arcade and the last 3 or 4 paths of Cavalier difficulty to do in the final quest. So
I've got 10 more
I hear you, man.
10 more.
You've got 10 more arcades?
Yeah. I did 11 last night.
I did a bunch last night. Yeah, you and I both were sort of like, we got to get this done.
Yeah, I did 11. It took me 2.5 hours, and because I'm still trying to do the mutant side of things, because I'm like, right, I need to guarantee myself the tier 5 class catalyst. Yeah. Because I'm like, that's kind of, not to say it's more important, but it's definitely important.
It's pretty important.
Yeah. So what am I now away from it? I'm at 65 of 80, and I've just ran the mutant one all the time. So I'm like, oh, right, okay. I'm on the same thing. I've got to get it done.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
Yep. Gotta get it done.
And then back to 7.1.
Yeah. And then back to 7.1. I just finished 7.12 last weekend. we got to get working on this because the beta for 7.2 is dropping. Did you get a beta invite?
Not on the main.
No. Did you get it on your alt?
No,
or just not at all? No?
I've not got any invite for it.
Oh.
So I don't know if that's because I get it on the content creator beta,
I don't know.
I might have to have a word with Kabam then on that.
Yeah, I don't know. I got an invite.
That's weird.
So I don't know.
I feel a little bit dejected and rejected as well at the same time.
Guys, send Rich an invite.
Yeah.
He wants to play around in the beta.
Just because I accidentally released the video early doesn't mean
that's water under the bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thankfully, Strife is in our rear view mirror, and we can turn to February. The champion buffs are coming. We can't talk about the specifics of those, but Kingpin, Mole Man, Terrax, and Jacket, they're going to have a buff that will live as soon as you download version 30.0, which will probably be out on Monday or Tuesday. Any of these, you pinning your hopes on any champion in particular, Rich?
Well, based on the release schedule of the podcast, we can technically talk about Terrax and Mole Man.
Oh, right.
So that's fine. We can talk about them. We can't talk about Kingpin and Yellow Jacket. But I would say Kingpin and Yellow Jacket are probably the ones I'm interested in the most. That's what I'm going to say about that. But when it comes to Terrax and Mole Man, I like the way that Terrax has got this kind of boost to his heavy attacks when in Rockfield. So whilst he's in Rockfield, his fury damage will go up from 120% to 170%, which does change the narrative of the playstyle. Maybe it's more of an emphasis of that you're getting more of your damage out of the criticals from doing heavy attacks when you're in Rockfield. So I like that.
Yeah, I mean, Terrax help, so it's good. I mean, like you, Kingpin's the only one of these I have as a star.
Yeah.
So that is my main interest. If he becomes legit rank 2, rank 3 option, that's definitely of interest to me.
Yeah.
We will see. Moving further on to the month of love, lots going on. Shattered Heart making a return. All sorts of ridiculous Deadpool innuendos. We get the power of love. We've got love juice. I believe the self-love boosts are new.
Yeah. Oh no, we've had we had self-love boosts last year.
Oh, we've had those before.
Yeah.
Oh man, how could I forget?
It's only because this is what I do when we can like these things. I go back, I research, I just see like what we got. But yeah.
You did the homework. Rich. This year we get to send you Valentine's cards.
That is definitely new.
Yeah, that's new. And then of course, Lunar New Year's back, gifting, red tickets, probably the same event, more or less as last year. Lots of 8s, if I remember correctly. Lots of stacks of 888 premium hero crystal shards. On your way.
Man, it's good. Yep. It's good if you get a load of units. It's all right if you get some shards. There'll probably be some sort of like gifting event as well with that. So it's like a month double gifting event month.
It does seem like it's a double gifting event month.
Yeah,
like it won't be like December gifting. Don't get too excited. It's not going to be that crazy.
Yeah,
but we're gonna have free stuff to give each other, so that's fun.
Yeah, I'm look forward to that. There's a lot on. It's nice. You get the free 3-star Psycho Man.
I love it when they do that.
Yeah, that's nice when they give that, and people get to experiment and try. I mean, it's pretty easy nowadays to do a 3-star featured champion grind in arena and get it, but having to do no work and getting it is the big win.
Yeah, that's super fun. Just to get to track in the new champ, and if you just started an account, that's 3-star can be pretty good. I remember when I started my free-to-play account, a couple weeks in, we all got a 3-star Guardian. And he did some major work for me early on, so that was actually very fortunate. So I do like it when they give us the either the 3-star, 2-star. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Just helps with the collection. Cool. So anything else on the update?
I think that is pretty much it.
Pretty much it. They're fixing Omega Red.
Yeah, they're fixing Omega Red. Yeah.
Hopefully you don't have to answer that question anymore.
Now, someone did say to me, "Oh, it's not on the release notes," and I said it's probably on the change log. Check the change log just now. Mike's put it on there, fixed the issue where Mega Red's Death Field would not deal any damage before applying 10 spores to the opponent. So it's definitely on there. They haven't forgot it. It's just a case. It's just put on how it is. Shattered Heart Crystal Shards. That was the big thing. And I'm so glad they're doing a Cavalier Crystal version of them.
That is exciting because this is going to be a little bit like those 2020 crystals.
Oh yeah, the Sexenium.
Like those were exciting. Those were fun openings. So it's kind of going to be the same thing, only it's champions that have the romance synergy that are going to be in there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool.
Could be a few duff 6 stars in there, but still, look, if you're picking up a 6-star, which I feel that because I only got 5 stars, not a huge amount of 5 stars from my Sexeniums, I feel that I am due a 6-star from this. I've got a feeling, Dan.
Oh, well, maybe hopefully I can duplicate that feeling because I did not get a 6-star from those crystals.
Exactly, you deserve one as well.
I do, especially after duping Green Goblin in my last 2 6-star openings. I think I think it was Karate Mike had something on Twitter. It's like, hey, is there a way we can trade in our 6-star Green Goblins? I was like, if that is happening, I am cutting you in line because my roster needs more help than yours, bud.
Oh dear.
Cool. Well, shall we get over to the MCU and WandaVision episode 3?
Yeah, we should do indeed.
So episode 3 now in color, and this one a lot happened in this 30 minutes of TV. We got the MCU debut of the twins. Vision's getting suspicious. We start to see more of the real world, but it all starts out with what I can only describe as a very close ripoff to the Partridge Family opening theme song.
Yeah.
I know that's intentional. I mean, I was getting major Brady Bunch vibes. I don't know about you.
Yeah, definitely the Brady Bunch. I think with that. I don't know. There's so much. I'm just going to ping you a link whilst we're recording.
Yes.
I
mean, the internet went wild with the Easter eggs and the speculation after.
Yes, I don't know
because a lot happened.
I don't know if you've got anything up about it, but I'm reading through something now of all the Easter eggs and stuff. But it's it is mad.
People are going crazy.
The advert Hydra Soak luxury bath powder.
Yeah,
that's. Having that as a nod, in that, not as substantial, but it's just it's cool to have those little adverts. Where to begin here? There's loads of parallels in it as well as to things. We just see a lot more of the questioning, the people there that seem to be either in there but don't know they're in there, maybe in there against their will, in there to stop something or prevent something or not. Anger Wanda. It's a really weird. I can't think of what his name is. There's a weird moment where is it Herb or something? Is got his he's just cutting his hedge, and all of a sudden he's cutting into the wall. What are you doing, Herb? Oh, I don't know. Yeah,
no, you can tell she hasn't fully fleshed out the backstory of everything. So people can only take it so far. You could tell Vision's getting a little suspicious, that scene where he's talking to the neighbors. But for me, the whole thing really amps up a notch after the twins are born.
Yeah.
And now for those of you who don't know, the twins are very important because they go on to become Wiccan and Speed in the Young Avengers. And I think both of us have been speculating that Wiccan is the link on the champion puzzle between Scarlet Witch and Vision. Now, of course, there's that moment after the twins are born where it kind of turns from the joy of the babies to Wanda reminiscing and things I was a twin, and that's when Geraldine kind of snaps into reality, and there's the Quicksilver drop, and this is the first time we've heard Quicksilver talked about since Age of Ultron. So that felt like a real big moment.
It was, because I wasn't expecting it. I thought, oh, we're still in this kooky show vibe. And then Geraldine goes, your brother, Pietro, he was killed by Ultron. And I just go, ooh.
Yeah. Yep. So they've been stringing us along. And then, of course, Wanda basically removes her from the reality of the show, and boots her out to the real world. And I love how they did that, where when you're watching the show, it's framed in the old, more squarish style TV, and then as Geraldine reaches the real world, it goes widescreen on your screen, which I thought was a very subtle but cool way to do that. So yeah, I'm definitely excited. Like, it seems like Agnes knows more than she's letting on. Clearly knows more. Vision's starting to suspect some stuff. I mean, we got to see what happens with the twins. What happens now that Geraldine's on the outside? I haven't watched episode 4 yet. Are we actually going to see some people interacting on the outside? Is she going to try to get back in? How is this all going to work? What time period is the next show set in? I'm really enjoying it. Love the vibes. I also thought it was a very nice touch that they ended with Daydream Believer by the Monkees, which, did you know who the Monkees are?
I do. I'm familiar with the Monkees, yeah.
You're familiar with the Monkees, but the Monkees are basically that was a TV show made to capitalize on the Beatles. So they created a fake band for TV. And then, of course, the Monkees went on to become a real band that had a 30-something year long career. I've actually worked a couple shows of the Monkees back when a couple of the members have unfortunately passed on. But yeah, I was like, that was a very nice wink, I thought, in there. But I'm really enjoying the WandaVision so far. I know it started off a little slower. You feeling it a little more now, or what do you think?
I've just finished episode 4, which we'll talk about. The reason I have to get this done is like I just can't stand, because I got to do Twitter's, like, it's a job being a content creator. Every time I go on Twitter is a little something. I'm just like,
I hear you.
So
you don't want it ruined.
Seeing it today, episode 4 is going to be the best episode that I've seen so far. Like, Em had this kind of like take on it, where she said to me, if it started off like this, I would have enjoyed it from the start. That's basically it. It's the best episode. Nice.
Well, it's awesome to hear that they are building to even better things, and I'm on board. It's MCU, and I want to see where it's going, and I've enjoyed the journey so far. But I'm glad to hear that they're sort of kind of up in the pace and up in the stakes. Everyone's enjoying it more, so that is very cool. So more WandaVision to come. We'll talk about episode 4 next week, and we'll see. Maybe by the time we get through this whole series, we'll have a new Scarlet Witch in MCOC. Maybe not.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we will continue to monitor that story. Moving on to Battle World. Realm's got a big update, version 2.0, coming out soon. They haven't issued the full release notes yet, but they issued a Reddit post on the balancing changes. I know you covered this pretty extensively in a video earlier today, but how are you feeling? They're nerfing our girl Sorcerer Supreme for the good of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I am a little bit kind of like unhappy about it, but I gotta really roll with it, as it were.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a thing. There's a lot of champions.
She's clearly the best champion in the game.
Yeah, there are a few champions that have been missed off, and I think Hulk hasn't been tampered with too much. I don't think Spidey's been tampered with too much, and Black Panther has not been tampered with that much. And I just think, okay, so where does the balancing go with the other champions then?
Especially it could be another round. They probably want to make these adjustments and then get another set of data, and we have no reason to think they're done with balancing changes.
No, exactly. I mean, that's the thing.
If they add more houses.
Yeah,
everything
mobber,
changes.
it just seems to be like a regular thing, really, because it's part of like a PvP arena most of the time. Anything that's really found out to be over-functioning in an OP kind of light is like, well, there you go. It just happens.
Yeah. I mean, they're taking Sorcerer Supreme down a little bit. They're taking Storm down a little bit. I'm interested to see how this the changes to the way the Bodok acts, and how that's going to impact gameplay, because we've definitely been seeing. I've been seeing less Bodok hugging lately, but I have seen more charging the Bodok in my games.
Yeah, but that's the thing. When I've been, because a lot of those times, that's how I've managed to get myself to my sorcerers to 1,250. I play with the top end Hulks, so that's why I've been surprised that Hulk hasn't been nerfed the way that others have. Yes, the enrage has been reduced down, but I play with Slayer and Nidrob, the two players that have the most substantial Hulks in the game, and are able to go unstoppable or go into a point where they're able to just rush in and smack that Bodok. I think with 20% left on a Bodok as part of the Bodok rush strategy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's hugely significant.
Yeah.
That you could run in there and hang in there that long.
Yeah, and the same thing with Black Panther, because if you run 3 Black Panthers and go in with the... I did a video on this as well. Like, you go SP1 and all you rush in and unstoppable. So again, I don't know why something hasn't been done about that, but it's quite easy to then attack Sorcerer Supreme. I always think as well it's down to like how you gear certain champions as well, and I'm not going to give up on my Sorcerer Supreme and the build that I have in order to damage output the way I do, because I feel there could, once the nerfs comes in, then I'm like, well, I'll have a look at my gear. I'll then, because I haven't used any of my raw celestial remnants at all.
Right.
If I use them, will I then see the damage that I'm doing now? Because if I'm still able to do relatively the same damage I'm doing now, then I'll continue on. So we'll have to see. Yeah,
I mean that's the thing. We gotta play. We gotta see. I am happy that I got my Storm to Defender tier this week. Sort of got that out of the way. You're well ahead of me. You got them all to Defender tier. You're just waiting for Thor to drop.
Yeah, I've had some good runs. I've still got to work on my next plan for the next week. In amongst doing my MCOC stuff, is trying to build up another champion to 1,000 rating, which will be either Iron Legionnaire or one of the others. All of them, yes, are up to Defender tier, but that was really for that epic bundle that I spent on.
I know, I watched that opening. But you got some pretty good stuff there.
Oh yeah, but the problem is some of that stuff is under the radar to be nerfed.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, great. I'm thinking I might go again, because I've got the option of doing this 2 more times.
Yeah.
It may be an option. I have picked up some good gear here or there. Like out of a basic crystal the other day, I picked up some epic gear for my Hulk, which was I picked up one. I think I picked up a nice gamma hammer, but as well I had this. I think it's a piece that I really need. It was like hand piece. That's it, hand wraps. So I picked up Rage Punch Live, which is that one that while in rage your light attacks heal you for 112 health, which unfortunately is being nerfed down to half the percent of that, or half the number of that, but still healing's healing.
Yes. Yeah, healing's a big deal.
So I can't wait for taking that. I just need to work on champions a little bit more, but it's just good to get some epic gear to then go, right, I can make gains. So I think I might go back and do that epic crystal again, because when I compared it off against, I watched the Bright Master opening, and I wanted to make sure that, because I think he said something like, oh, you don't need to do that. I've got lots of epic gear, and I didn't. I just went for the crate. But in his crate opening, in 1,000 units spent, he got 1 epic piece of gear. Now, if that's the same thing, and we say that look, it's down to luck. But for 2,500, I could have gone for 25 of the crates, in that I could only get 2 or maybe 3 at push. So I feel that this was a good thing for my scope of epics, gear, and boosting them up.
Nice.
I don't know where are you at the moment with epic gear and kind of like your next kind of progression to stuff. Are you focusing more on your building battle rating? Are you going to go for that deal? Are you going to go for the rare deal?
I'm going more for battle rating right now because I'm still in the process of getting folks to Defender tier. Sorcerer Supreme is Defender tier, and Storm is Defender tier. Right now I'm working on building up Spidey. I think he's level 21 right now. So he's getting there, but he's just over a 700 rating right now and a 600 battle rating. So definitely got some work to do. So I need to get him fully leveled up, and then I'll probably work on Black Panther or Hulk. And I think once I get everyone to Defender tier, then I kind of need to reevaluate as to where we're at in the game and what's happening next. If Thor has come out, that's another character to acquire and build up. If the story quest has come out, that may take me in a certain direction. If not, maybe then I do focus on gearing up whoever I'm enjoying playing the most at that time. I can't seem to get my cap to Defender tier. I'm kind of stuck right now. I can't quite break 700, even though I've got him at level 30. I don't know. Maybe I'm not that good of a cap player.
I'm not very good either.
So I really like him, but it's very hit or miss based on your teammates and can you execute the SP3 at the right time?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I like working with teammates, and if I've worked because I had to move on to the arc shield sharpish. I'm just not very happy with the gear. It seems like the more that I kind of play around the champion, am I being more kind of like health and armor and making sure I'm withstanding more, but as well trying to do more with my SP1 and with the arc shield, which I prefer massively, and then the SP3 timing it well. When I'm with a good team and to put it up to Defender tier, it was a case of either listening out or kind of watching what players were doing. If one player if I had a Hulk on my team, it was great because Hulk would do his with the fist, do the big kind of like jump up, the SP3, the ultimate, and then as soon as they were looking like they were getting back up again, I then do my SP3, and then it'd be knocked down again, and then the Hulk punches with a fist with the SP2, which stuns them, which then are pretty much finished off by the end of it. If that works that well, and I think that worked out pretty well as a good strategy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm myself. I've been learning how to play as a teammate to the Hulks a little bit more. Really trying to line that up since I'm generally playing more of the support characters. Like, okay, like when I was working my way up to Defender tier with Storm, it's like, all right, wait for the Hulk to knock him down, stun it, then jump in with your SP3. There's so much of a timing element to the game where if your timing is poor, it's really hard to win. But if you make smart plays and you wait and be patient, I think that's the main thing, right? Like being patient and picking your spots.
Yeah.
Because you think it's like, oh, I just got to get there and in there and start throwing some punches and then you're dead. So, especially when you're not playing as Hulk, you have to think like that. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep. But overall, what's your next thing?
My next thing with this is Iron Legionnaire, or it's a case of going Storm, but Web Warrior has always been like an enticing and interesting champion to kind of like go for next. My biggest problem with Web Warrior is like I'm just not overly kind of a big fan of the gear drop for myself. I'm still rocking a warrior web shooter, which is all right, but all I seem to pick up is rare and kind of average Gatling shooters, and I'm like, I don't really like these, man.
Yeah, I don't like the Gatling shooter either, and I'm right there with you. I'm still stuck with a one-star warrior web shooter. And my best set of goggles is that I don't know what the synergy is. I'm over here, it's the yellow one, but I can't get another piece of gear to to activate it. which is rough because I really want to activate that synergy.
Yeah, I've got web refreshers as part of the Focus Spider Sense, and it's like it's all right. I just got like web sling cooldown reduction, which is okay, I guess, and the kind of opposing thing to like pair with it is on evading and attack, gain 193 attack power for 5 seconds. I mean that's all right, but I guess that is all right. So I just need to kind of like work that in. I think I recently picked up something to get that second one there. And then I Get Close is the other thing with the Realm Reaver set for melee attack power versus foes. I mean, it's all right. I just need to, because I've been for the last 2 weeks on this intensive grind to try and get my sorcerer up to 1,250, which I thought I want to do this because I want all those crystals that you get from the battle rating milestones, and they didn't drop favorably except for the rare orb that I picked up. But apart from that, it was just a thing to say I got there. But then seeing the nerfs then was like, I'm not really kind of like happy about that. So I then went, right, I'll go elsewhere with it. So I think starting at the weekend, once I kind of get some stuff done off my plate that I've got to be doing, and some background stuff and planning for the next week and all this kind of new MCOC content, is then just trying to find some time to grind out Iron Legionnaire, Web Warrior and Storm and try and get them all up as further as possible, especially before we get a new update and stuff, because Kabam have said that these balance changes are part of a bigger picture, and I'm hoping this bigger picture is something to do with like maybe either new modes or it's something like new champions like the Thor, maybe something else down the line as well. That would be pretty exciting. But saying that, we only got Super Soldier as of December, and I don't think they're going to do one new champion a month because it's very different. The way that this game works is like it's all about its gear and weapons. Weapon differences is the new champions for that month. They're saying like, Iron Legionnaire having drones, major important weapon because then it changes the playstyle and also the activation of things like heavy attack damage. The same way that the Lightning Staff is amazingly powerful, even more so powerful, in my opinion, to the Blizzard Wand that was given for Storm. So there's lots of things that people say, oh, you need new champions. And it's like, well, okay, it's fine. Do you know how to play those champions? That's another thing. It's like a lot of people that want more from the game aren't the highest. They aren't 1,250 battle rating. But we still need that world quest in order to have those that aren't interested in arena conquest to have something extra to do.
Absolutely.
Bit of a
well, they've been teasing that 2.0 is going to be a big update, so hopefully we'll get some more news on that soon.
Yeah, the February update is it's going to be the big one. I really hope it's like they got the world quest stuff and things that people want to hear.
Totally agree.
Yeah, because people want to see it. I want to see it as well.
Yep. Yeah.
Right. Apart from that, I think we've covered a lot of stuff that we have.
It's a once again a busy week, a busy episode, but we managed to condense it down to 1 hour for your grinding pleasure.
Yeah, so hopefully you've been grinding out Arena whilst we've been talking about some of the stuff that's coming on. I have not the great concern, but I think I'm going to be of great and immense busyness, if that's a correct term to say, next week with there's going to be loads of different side events, side quests and stuff, because we've got Romance Arena for MCOC. We've got loads of stuff for MCOC, so preparation is going to be key. I think that's what I'm going to be working on. What do you think you're going to be working on next week, Dan?
I mean, update week is always kind of bonkers. I feel like I always have to be very locked in when the game gets a new version, because you don't know. Hope that this is going to be a much more stable update than the last one, and that we're not going to spend all this time trying to figure out what the bugs are and help them help them spot the bugs and get things fixed. But yeah, I'm working on a guide for 7.1.2. Just explored that. Next week, get into these February events, see how they're going. I know that those always prompt a lot of videos for you. Still working on my Darkhawk guide. Haven't forgotten about that. And yeah, hopefully getting my Web Warrior to Defender tier in Realm.
Very, very nice. That's what I'm going to be doing as well. Yeah, as well, we've got to cover all these new champion changes as well. Like, God, so many things dropping next week. So many things dropping. In any case, that has been the podcast. Thank you, everybody, for coming and listening. As I said, you can find Dan. Links are in the bio to frontline.home.blog and as well to himself on Twitter. You can find us available on various different podcast platforms. Make sure you are following and follow on Twitter because that's where I announce stuff as well. And we've got a Discord. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye for now.